Hi, it's Rachel with Stirring the Deep. Okay, there's a lot of information here, okay? And I want to dive into a little bit more into the ones that are sealed, okay? They receive the fullness, they have the new vision, they can operate by the wisdom of God to harness all the winds that are being released, from the four corners of the earth, the winds that are being released to bring about ultimately to transform this earth. That's like the Spirit of God to transform this earth into His kingdom. That's what you're talking about. Okay, His kingdom is a reign of unity, harmony, peace, beauty, love, all these wonderful things, all the things we actually really, really desire. And it comes from within us. And I think hopefully you've seen that from these videos, that that's the case. So it's not all this external stuff. If that's where you're looking, you've yet to really understand the true gospel. It is about Him coming in us and what that means. Okay, so for those who have been sealed, you're also a peacemaker. Okay, it says the sons of God, they're peacemakers. That suggests that you're making peace where peace once did not exist. And that is what I've been talking about, how these winds that are now going to start flowing upon the earth, because when those people who have received the fullness of Christ, they become the light, the flame. That flame, that light is that pure spirit of God, okay? And that is what seals them, their mind, and that's what brings in those winds, because now the winds can come and alter this earth. And how that occurs, as I said, remember they're twofold. So for the sons of God, those who have been sealed, those winds are actually going to be tools to expand their peace, because they are peacemakers. They know how to create peace. And how you do it is that when a situation, I've talked about this before, but it is so important, because these are the very things that you're going to be doing in your life right now. Right now. Okay, so remember, you have no fear, because you have the perfect love and it has cast out all fear. Now what's happening is those winds are starting to blow. So you see something over here on the horizon, this wave that seems to be like it may be affecting your reality. You're now having the eyes of understanding. So you're understanding and you're seeing what you need to see in the perspective you need to see it, and you are having the wisdom of the understanding of God of how to respond in that situation. So that wave comes, you know exactly how to respond, and in your response, you actually experience more growth and expanded peace. Those are actually the very things, the very tools, those winds that God is going to use to expand His kingdom, because the sons of God know how to make peace by the wisdom of God, by doing the right thing in that moment. Because when you don't have fear operating and affecting your decisions, when you have perfect love affecting your decisions, you are starting to make decisions in righteousness out of that character of God. Remember I said that character of God, the end result are the words and actions of righteousness. That's what you're going to be creating, and that's what His kingdom is about. So if someone is intending harm to you because of the storm they're facing, you're going to know exactly how to respond that will actually increase your peace. And thus it will increase the kingdom, because your reality of peace has been expanded. Do you see? It's the expansion of His kingdom, the expansion of light. It is flowing out. And when you are doing that, you are a peacemaker. very important thing here to understand is that although God is governing us and doing all those things, we are still limited in our understanding. And you have to totally trust God's wisdom for each situation that comes up to you like that, about how should I respond. And as I said, it's going to be in all those ways that you have learned that God desires. And one element is not going to have is that you are not going to be condemning and treating people spitefully and being mean to them. There, it may cause separation from people because people will not like the light. They don't want to be exposed. So they're going to want to stay away because they don't want to let go yet. Okay, but that's very different than having a mindset of you want vengeance on them and you want your own form of justice and you want to condemn them. That is not the attitude of any of the 144,000, because everything that's coming out from them is out of perfect love. It's like you realize everyone is lost and they are blind, and your utmost desire is that they will see, and you will be willing to do what you need to do in that situation, that it will lead to a deeper understanding for them in love. Because here's the thing that's so important. All those people, and a lot of people don't understand, God's refining fire, one of the main elements of it is love. Because everybody has been bound to death by those lies I was talking about, those deep-seated lies, right? Of what? You're not valued, you're insignificant, you're worthless, and you're not loved, and you're hated. The 144,000 will not be doing anything that will give people that feeling of not being loved. Okay, now people may not understand fully what they're doing. They may reject them because they don't have the same doctrine, beliefs, whatever it is. But the actions from that heart of that sanctified vessel, it is going to feel like your love is pouring out for those people. That is going to be in every act that you do. Because it is that very love, the perfect love of God, that they need to feel, they need to experience, they need to receive for those lies to be destroyed. Remember, they don't have the internal teacher anymore or available to them. That's why they're in outer darkness. There is no more of that light. The light is all within the 144,000 and those as they come into that light. Okay? And so they need to, they'll be in outer darkness. That's why it's wailing and gnashing of teeth. I mean, if you don't have any light, if you don't have the mercy, it is not a happy place. And you know what you need when you are in that place? You need the love. And that's exactly what God's going to give them. He wants to give them. That is the whole point. And He's going to be giving it through His people that contain His love. They're going to be pouring that love out, but it's going to be in honor, and it's going to be in righteousness, and it's going to be in deep understanding, and it's going to be in wisdom. And so they're going to be doing what those people need to come into that love. Okay? And it's not mushy, trample on, take advantage of love. That's not the love of God. The love of God is full of honor, and it's full of power, and it's full of strength. And it's unlike any love that you've experienced in the perfection of it. It gives exactly what you need. And that's what those vessels are going to be doing. They're going to be giving others exactly what they need. This is very, very important to understand, this dynamic about how people, it is about rescuing. It is about coming to share the light. It is about coming to let that love flow through you into this dark world that is so lost. And it is that very love that they need to understand to feel, to experience from people that are ready and sanctified and showing that love, that they need to defeat those lies. They have to defeat those same lies because they need to receive that same perfect love within them to know that they can start to ascend. That's how you ascend, by having that perfect love in you. They need to understand that. So that's why that's going to be a very fundamental underlying dynamic of that. And I'm making such a point of this because you do not see this in a lot of teachings. What you see is a lot of condemnation and just a lot of judgment. And it's not a lot of love. Okay? That pure love that people really need. You have to have the right mindset, but that's exactly what Christ came to give you, so that you could operate in the right way perfectly. Till next time, keep stirring the deep. It's the one thing that changes everything else.